So here's another Netduino project that I was just doing for fun and learning. In this one we're using a multicolor LED. It has a red, green, and blue LED built into it, and you can control each individually. As you can see, there's 4 pins on that thing, a red pin, a green pin, a blue pin, and a ground pin. And from the colored pins, I have these resistors here, which lead back to the digital inputs over here. The 4th one I have running over here, which is connected to the ground. And then lastly, I have over here, very hard to see, but I have basically the knob, that blue thing, plugged into the analog input. So what this all does is I have a program that is updating the red, green, and blue via something called pulse width modulation, which means basically normally LEDs are just on or off, but if you turn them on and off fast or quickly, and you spend like more time in the off state, it'll be darker, and if you spend more time in the on state, it'll be lighter. So that's how it achieves different colors. I'll show you the code in a second, but so I hooked up the dial, and what that guy does is just control the overall brightness. I can turn up the brightness all the way, I can turn it down to nothing, or turn it on just barely like I had it. But yeah, it can get pretty bright. Yeah, pretty neat little project, not that difficult. And yeah, let's check out the code real quick. Hold on, camera is adjusting. Okay, so real quickly going through the code. Here I'm setting up the knob, saying I want a knob in analog port 0. I want the range of that knob to be from 0 to 100. I'm assuming internally like the API or something scales whatever values it actually is. I think it's 0 to 1023. And then here it's creating 3 PWM objects, which are pulse width modulation objects. And they take digital pins, and so I have it on the 5, 6, and 9 digital pin, the red, green, and blue. Make some temporary variables, or make some variables to keep track of the current red, green, and blue. And then I have a loop count. I don't really have a way of specifying or getting what the current time is since the program's been running. There might be a way, but I figured keep it simple. It's a little microcontroller, so just have a loop count. So here's my loop. I read the knob's value, and then I set the LED's duty cycles to their red value, which is 0 to 100, times the knob's value, which is 0 to 100, and divide it by 100. So that gives me a number between 0 and 100, which is what set duty cycle wants. And that the duty cycle just specifies how long is an LED in the on state. So the lower the number, the less often it's on. The higher the number, the more often it's on, and the brighter it will be. So after I do that, here's where I adjust the colors. I tried to keep them not really showing any factors, trying to keep the patterns low so it would go through a variety of colors. So I just basically, I could have done modulus, been like, if loop count and 1 is 0, add 1, and that would be like every even number it would increase R. But I know modulus can be slow because it does division, so I just did it this way with Boolean logic. So I update the red, green, and blue, increment the loop count, and then here I make sure the colors are within range, and that's all there is to it. And then one other thing I wanted to note is that I'm not using any floating point numbers. I'm not sure how the Netduino handles floating point, if it even can. I assume it can, but I'm sure if it is, it's got to be slow. So I was just sticking to integer arithmetic. But yeah, very cool little project. I think the next one up is sound. I can't wait to start digging into that stuff. Getting some fat beats going out of this thing or something.